got a great talk on what's going on in Oregon and more, right?
Okay. Jan and Randy, give a hand. It's Rand's food because of them. Thank you, Randy and Jan. Also, instructors, you attendees, give your instructors a hand for the quality of classes you're enjoying. Thank you, and appreciate that, and for our instructors being willing to give up some of their summer to do this. But we're paying them. When there's a check in the mail, Don, maybe. So we, as you can tell, I think probably the fun of being one of the leaders of Oregon Computer Science Teachers Association, as well as this passion work, has been really good. I want to go over the leadership structure. Here's the bad news. There's good and bad news with Oregon Computer Science Teachers Association. The good news is that you are a member, and the bad news is that you cannot revoke that membership unless you block our emails. Then you are, or you can unsubscribe if that's even possible. No, we need to just turn that one off as well. So anyway, we don't have membership fees. You attend, you're a member. The National is pushing us a little bit to have a fee structure. Depending on membership, and then for our workshops, we're considering a small fee. For one example would be, as we consider how to fund our future, is to just charge a $50 fee for a 3-day workshop, and that way it'll help with some of the expenses, and then we'll get most of the other expenses from donations and grants and such. So anyway, that's kind of the plan. Madeline Hunter, anybody know who she is? Who? Madeline Hunter, anybody heard of her? Yeah, there's the emeritus. We would call us old if we knew Madeline Hunter. Anyway, years and years ago, she had a teaching style. One of them was anticipatory set. So you walk into your classroom and you kind of shock them into paying attention. That's anticipatory set. The other thing is that you tell the students what they're going to learn. You just say it at the beginning, or you put it on the board, and then you say it at the end. You get the bookends of the learning experience. What I want, there's a call for action here. You as attendees and members now of Oregon Computer Science Teachers, the call for action is very simple. You influence where you can influence, and you are an activist for high-tech education for students. And the only reason we are here are students. That's it. The only reason we exist is for the success of students. And so that you have that passion because you're an educator. Whether you're a volunteer or a teacher or certified or classified, you have that passion. Therefore, we're going to call on you to exercise that passion and influence where you can influence and be an advocate. Don Jones said this morning, call your legislator, go to the legislature, go down to Salem, walk the halls of the Capitol for the Senate and House, and talk to your friends down there. It's easy, and it's actually kind of fun. All right, Oregon Computer Science Teachers Association. This PowerPoint is going to be modified a little bit, and this is what we're going to present at the National CSTA next on the 8th and 9th. We've been invited by the National to give a presentation about who we are and what we've done. With the one caveat, they don't necessarily want to hear what we've done because we have a large grant. They want to hear what we did when we didn't have a lot of money. But we'll include that. Leadership. I'm an elected president, and my term is over by fall. Andrew Scholler will be incoming president for a couple of years, and our leadership then is elected as well. Don Domes, Jill Hubbard, and yeah. So we have the president, we have the core then leadership, making the decisions, doing a lot of the work, and of the nuts and bolts of the organization, writing grants and so forth. And then the Kathy Zettel-Schaefer is an appointed executive director. And then we have, out of this grant, we've been able to pay individuals to do the implementation of our workshops and such. So that's the leadership structure. We also have a third tier of leadership, instructors and highly interested people that want to be involved, and we meet about every quarter and talk about the vision and the direction of Oregon Computer Science Teachers Association. We're not just moving the needle, because moving the needle indicates that you're just changing the status quo a little bit. We want to do more than that. We think we can, so we're changing the face of the dial in high-tech education in Oregon. The stats, 20% of the Oregon high schools have at least one coding class. It's very pathetic. That means 80% do not. An example, Wilsonville High School, we're in their district, and we're sitting in their backyard, has one class of AP Computer Science a year and 15 students. Sherwood, bordering school district, where I teach, I see 150 students a day per trimester. Socioeconomic, similar. So it's an opportunity challenge, not socioeconomic, not rural, necessarily metro, and that is something that needs to be fixed. And so I can only be fired by my administrator. Therefore, you can invite me to come and give a strong message to your school board, to your administrators, and I will say, you have failed your community and your students and the people you are hired, the kids you are hired to manage, if you do not offer this opportunity because of the high demand, high pay career opportunities that they should be able to take advantage of. Our mission, you'll find it on our website. We were established in the 80s. Don Kirkwood, even a few years prior to my getting involved in the 80s, but we've been around a long time. We should have said celebrate. I don't know what we did to celebrate 30 years, but it was last year. And so we're a long-time organization, and organizations such as ISTE and National CSTA spawned out of the original group here in Oregon. So we have a legacy definitely in that sense. Someone told me I needed to change the red to something that you could read, but it says, OCSTA will excite, educate, empower, and employ. And folks, if you've been involved with us over time, you know that we're more aggressive with what we're doing now in the last few years than we have in a long time. And the funding sources have been very helpful that way. The digital literacy grant, $750,000 from Oregon, from the Department of Ed, will be running out in this August, and then we're not sure exactly what funding sources we have available to move forward. And you're experiencing the 3-day workshops. SuperQuest is our flagship PD. We are also, as Dan indicated, the pop-ups. Your administrator says, hey, we think it's a great idea. We'd like to train 4 or 5 teachers. You just give us a call. We'd like to train 4 or 5 teachers in game design. Great, we'll show up and we will pay the instructor. We will ask the superintendent of the district to provide a facility. We'll even buy the food. Will we buy the food? I think we will. Yeah, we will, Jan. Jan says we will, so we will. We have a spring and fall conference as well. Probably held at George Fox University. Those have not dates or that has not been confirmed yet. These are the SuperQuest, except for Pendleton, that are happening this summer, and you can see that on the site. These are the courses that we offer, and we have, I think 8 or 9 courses that are being offered here, but we have a lot of other instructors and course offerings. What we like to do is go into a region and say, what would you like to learn? What do your people need? Then we find the instructors for that, and we actually look for instructors in the region as well as those who we have kind of on our teaching guide. Contests. Talked a little bit about that this morning, OGPC, the programming contest at George Fox this last spring. We presented at NCCE here in Portland this last spring as well. And those are some metrics, but we are truly all over Oregon. You can see we are hosting the SuperQuest all over. We're actually going, we thought it was a good idea, but until the grant showed up, we didn't have the resources to really get out around Oregon, and now we do. And hopefully that will be able to sustain that in the future. So we have a lot of partners. Not all of them are active, but many are. And one thing that this grant has allowed us to do is create a statewide network of computer science liaisons. And so, while the names may not necessarily be there in some of those, we do have people on the ground out in these regions that are promoting SuperQuest, promoting computer science, and helping to be our eyes and ears out in the areas of Oregon. We also did PLCs, and anytime you have a big idea and a grant, you throw a bunch of stuff on the wall, and many things stuck. One of them is virtual PLCs. So, for example, you can see here, Vex Robotics and Lego Robotics, web coding. I did one on just curriculum, and we gathered 10 to 20 people that raised their hand and said, yeah, we would like to be in a virtual PLC. And we met 3 guys and created a community, a particular curriculum. And there was crazy people like Judson. Is Judson here somewhere? Were you on 3? Yes, he was. I'm proud of it. No, he looked and said, you know, what community groups could I be involved in that help me with my teaching of computer science and engineering? And we had money to pay participation in that. And so we're gonna move that forward. It may look a little bit different, but we found that there was value there, connecting people around the state with similar interests in curriculum. We often say when we're applying for things that we're applying for a $2 million National Science Foundation grant due September 1st or September 5th. But we're going to be writing that grant this summer, and we fit the criteria for the grant. We also are writing a grant through the Oregon Community Fund, and they have $10 million to spend in computer science and engineering education in Oregon. And we're hoping that we can get some money out of ODE. At one end of the spectrum, we're going to be rich. Rich, I'm going to Hawaii, but not on that next. But we're going to have funding to do the pop-ups. we will. On the other end of the spectrum is that we fail on all of those, and we've got to kind of pull our horns in for a bit until we can find some of that funding. But the return on investment of what we do, because we're very light with overhead. We don't have full-time paid people. And we have some volunteers. We pay Jan and Randy for their wonderful, wonderful work. But we don't have an office. We don't have a space. We don't have overhead. So what we do and what we do for you and our members, we just call it a great return on investment. And our feedback is very positive as well in the work we do. And I've talked about the future, we'll leave it at that. Some conclusions, and we'll blow by that one. And I don't know, you won't find that anywhere, so forget it. The last bullet, though, is kind of important. When I get to the national, I'm going to be probably a little more professional and go through these items. But you're my friends, and we're going to get over it. The thing is that in our community, in all communities throughout the United States, this is a study done. And by the way, I think Randy, you have this PowerPoint on the website, I believe. Is it available? Or soon will be. The last bulleted item says 90% of parents believe that CS education is a good use of resources, while 8% of administrators believe that parents want it. So, what's happening in your district, if you've got someone like John Hellkamp at Sunset High School, you don't have to worry about it. He's going to drive that train. If you have somebody, Tuesday, where are you? At a middle school in Salem where the courses are being cut back, then you have to work on the will of that administrator. And I'm going to apologize a little bit. You've heard a lot about Sherwood. Sherwood's somewhat Mayberry and so I'm going to apologize a little bit. And here's how Mayberry we are. At the symposium on Saturday, 2 of my 5 board members came to our symposium. And they're both engineers in computer science, 2 of my 5 board members. Cool as that. I rock because my bosses get it. But I understand, and that kind of gives me the power to take the podium sometime to say, you know what, it can be done. All right? It can be done, but I understand that 20% or 25% where it's only 25% is working. So let me help you try to get yours into that group. I think that, yeah, and that's about it. I'm going to talk. What I'm going to do is add a few slides for the national that says, you know, over the 28 years that we did not have this significant amount of money, we were able to we're teachers training teachers. We did it. The Don Kirkwood and Don Domes. I mean, you guys and put in a ton of volunteer time, didn't get paid much to spread the love. And so we're going to tell that story as well, that other states can do this. So I'm going to conclude with what I started with, call for action. You can advocate in your space. You can influence the influencers so that the face of the dial can be changed. So I'm going to put a period on it. What questions do you have of anything? We talk about 98 and funding and Perkins funds and CTE programs of study and all of this we want, or it's cool in here, and there's some benches outside in the sun. You know, we can break and be done with this. But any questions? I'm not that good.
I've got a suggestion for you on your Measure 98. How many of you would like to have an aide in your classroom? A paid aide? I've had those before, but it took funding to pay for them. And if you get the right one, it does more than double your effectiveness, because a lot of those kids, you know, that need help, and you're busy helping them and you can't break away from them to help the other kids. But if you had an aide, the aide could work with them. I know in Hillsborough, one of the things that I think they proposed, by the stuff I heard in the grapevine, was, you know, if you, especially where you've got targeted populations and all that kind of thing, is to get more kids to do better. And some of those CTE programs, I kind of heard through the grapevine, maybe requesting aids. So you might think about that on your Measure 98 stuff.
Also, you heard this morning about clubs. You can request some funds for clubs, for a stipend for yourself, or for materials and software and hardware for the clubs that you run after school. So again, just at 98, the legislature is going to close out here in a couple of days on this biennium session, this long session, and 8.2 billion will get signed, but still they're looking at between $400 and $500 a student, a high school student, that your district will receive for your building. Can't go down to middle school, but if you can, one thing that I'm going to do to get around that is assign some of my students to go to the middle school and help the Debbie Frankels of the world, who are middle school teachers down there, and my students will go help, and maybe, just maybe, they might take some materials and the equipment with them. So there are ways, but this is not competitive money. This doesn't say that Sunset and Sherwood, they're going to get all the money, and you can't know. It's non-competitive, meaning that every building, every high school in the state of Oregon will get their $500 per student if they apply. And most all of them have applied, and if you haven't heard of it, then you weren't asked. But what I found in Sherwood is they threw out a generic plan and then came to talk to us. So there's room to make the request for an aid, make the request for additional funding to grow a program, or to start a CTE program of study. So Oregon Computer Science Teacher Association will continue to be your resource. We will provide, Kate and I are gonna hang out because she's getting started. And I have some things I've done that might work where she is. So we have the emeritus or the old people here who've been around. Sorry, Don, you're old like me. Will be resources because we've been in the trenches and we have some things that might help. Anyway, it's great to see you all. If you have any questions, I'll be around. Do we have any wrap up or logistics?
We have the surprise.
And we have, where is that route? 3D printer. I have to tell you the story.
I didn't get to enter that. Yes, you did. Everybody's name is in here. So,
But you didn't get it in or twice. I do. So we're at spring conference at George Fox University, and there are people like you there, and we're sitting around and we're drawing a 3D printer.
Yeah.
And so I'm shaking up the hat. I don't know what I have, but you guys possibly remember. I go around and I hand it to this kid, and this kid draws, guess who he drew? Himself. Yeah, okay, all right. So there's a possibility if I let you draw. It has happened.
So it's not just that you have your choice. So it's either a 3D printer or a Chromebook or what, Don?
Lego provides EV3 core set. That's the big set with the EV3 in it.
So whoever wins, you have to come tell us what you want. Did you not read my handwriting?
That was you.
No, it's not.
Janice Jones. Check with Jan and
here to help you.
just on the legal logistics of that, we have to donate it to a public agency like your school. And that said, so Randy wants me just to emphasize that if you're building and you don't, for example, we have gone to Mount Here, to Ontario, to the Mount Here ESD, and we've done a pop-up. We sent a teacher there to do a pop-up for that group.
And then there's a link at the bottom of our front page on how to apply.
Yeah. And we're actually pushing that because right now, over the 30 years, we've had lockdown 3-day workshops at locations. Okay, yeah, that may or may not work. That's all we've pretty much done. But out of this, our dream has been, we need to be a little more nimble. We need to go on the road and be able to carry this out to regions. So you would help us by giving us that opportunity. So thank you all. Have a great summer.